Hello, everyone. I'm Mario Florio. Welcome to a Food Podcast, a place you can come to hear all about the great things happening on the local food scene, the wonderful restaurants we have, local companies making delicious food products, the fun community events that highlight local cuisine. And it is November, so we are talking turkey, and who best to do that with than our favorite chef, Frank Terranova from A Class of Cooking. Frank, thanks so much for coming in.
You're welcome, Mario. Good morning.
So tell us about the big question. What are some of the most common questions you get about?
Well, when we were doing, years ago when we used to do the turkey hotline, we would get tons and tons of questions. And the number one question is, how long do I cook the turkey? And the second question was, how do I thaw it out? Because most turkeys people buy, and you're going to see more this year, in my opinion, is frozen turkeys. Because they're expensive to begin with, and the fresh turkeys are going to really wallop out of orbit. And so it's going to be really interesting. But that was our biggest question, is how long should I cook it? Is it stuffed? Is it unstuffed? Do you have a turkey breast, boneless, bone-in? And we use USDA guidelines, and it works out really great. We had a great time.
So cost aside, and if it was like a typical year, what is, in your opinion, frozen versus fresh, what's better? Or is it not? They're no different?
Well, okay, first of all, people buy a fresh turkey, and they are good. Okay, I've had them. And they brine them. Okay, now brining, we mentioned this before, brining goes back to the old self-basting turkey. What they did was they pumped it up with the salt solution. It's the same thing. Only difference is the fresh turkey, you're brining it. It's ingesting the same type of salt mixture. People buy the frozen turkey, and we tell them time and time again, don't brine it. You can't. It's impossible because it's so full of liquid. It's like taking a wet sponge, putting it in a plate with water, and seeing how much water it can take. It's not going to work. And you're going to even make it saltier because they really increase the sodium. And, good, bad, or indifferent, the salt solution makes the turkey tender, and it holds the moisture.
Yep. So, in terms of how long you should cook it for, obviously it depends on the size, right?
Yes. Yeah, it depends on the size of it. Most turkeys you saw in the past, when people were running them at 18 to 22, 24. When we were doing the show, a person had one at 40 pounds. And I have no clue, because there's not a home oven on the planet that can hold a 40-pound turkey. So they cut it in half. And they cooked two half. Didn't make sense. I don't know if you're going to glue it back together again. But like I said, going back, a lot of people swear by a fresh turkey because that's basically what they know. The ease of handling the frozen turkey is always pretty decent, and you get a top quality name too. You're gonna have a good deal out of it.
What's the rule of thumb of how long you should cook per pound? Is there a rule of thumb?
It goes by a pound. Generally, about anywhere from 15 to 18 minutes a pound for a turkey. And you start it off at 350 degrees. Now, here's where it gets crazy, because you put on all these shows, and all of a sudden, this one does it this way, this one does it this way, this one cooks it at 500 degrees, and we're bouncing off the wall like ping pong balls, because a lot of these things we've never used before, because we're dealing as a normal restaurant where we cook a turkey 350 degrees, always in the 350 oven. Everybody, if you want to char it up and darken it up at the end, then you blast it. But they come up with all these. They've got cheesecloth dipped in butter, put on top of the turkey. They cook it upside down. I said, well, cook it upside down, but let me ask you, can you get a 24-pound turkey? You try to flip that thing over in the oven when you have to finish it on the other side. So, but we've had really good success.
Yeah. Another big question people always have is, they have the frozen turkey, how far in advance do they need to get it out to thaw it?
Oh, oh, Mario, we had people had a 24-pound turkey. It's in the freezer. Yeah, today's Wednesday. Well, I can just, no, you can't take everybody out to lunch, because no way you're going to pull it. I can leave it on the counter, and that's the worst thing you can do. Generally, it's approximately, I tell people, it's at least a day and a half to 2 days for every 5 pounds the turkey weighs. And when they come in frozen, they are like a rock. Okay, and people say, trust me, because what happens when the turkeys, when they freeze them, they process the legs, they tighten the legs up, they put a band around them, and then the neck is on the inside. So what you've done is you compress that turkey. The outer part of the turkey might be soft. You might touch it. Oh, it's not bad. You try to separate those legs to get that neck out. It's a whole different thing altogether. And we'll always tell people, if that's the case, if it's thawed out but you just can't get the neck out, put it into a bucket. Try to get the legs a little apart, and then let some cold water trickle into the cavity, and it'll eventually pop out. But then you're flushing it out. You keep flushing the turkey. Best, if people buy a frozen turkey on a Sunday or a Saturday, you put it in the refrigerator, you're going to be perfect to go by Thursday or even Wednesday night to prepare it.
And thaw it in the refrigerator, not...
No, always in the refrigerator. On the lower part of the refrigerator, because more often than not, those things are put in cryovac bags. Now, during transportation, maybe shipping, the bag gets nicked. You don't see it. When that bag gets nicked, the liquid comes out, which is the juices. There could be blood incorporated in there. And if that drips on top of exposed food, like a container, whatever it is in the refrigerator, you're going to have to rift it and get it out of there. So we always tell people, lowest part in the refrigerator, not in the trunk of your car, I'm serious. You're going to hear some of the things.
Oh, I'm sure. That's great. I remember it was really popular. I don't know if it still is, deep frying your turkey. Do people still do that?
They still do deep fried turkey. There were 6 in my family. Okay, and one year they wanted a regular roast turkey, a smoked turkey, and a deep fried turkey. Mario, I had turkey. I didn't want to see anything with feathers for about a month, but deep fried turkey is delicious. Now they've got new fryer-laters out. I have one. It doesn't work. Nothing beats frying. If you're going to do it, you got to use the real deal.
Yeah.
Those dry fryers, they work. And I've got one. I tried it. I'm going. Only
like
thing I
the
use
air fryer.
Yeah, but it's for turkeys.
Yeah.
Now, to give you an idea, people are buying it. 320 ounce container of fat, which normally is peanut oil, because peanut oil has the best flavor. The problem is you got to make sure people understand, because you might have a peanut allergy individual and you're going to run into a problem. I saw it in the stores at 300, I think it was 320. I'm not sure got to divide that by 32 to find out how many quarts it is. It's $40. So you got a pretty expensive item, and that's a one-shot deal. So you can use the fat again, but you have to strain it. You have to strain it out, keep it in the refrigerator. That's running the problem. But they are good. You're not going to find them too much here. We did it quite a few years ago. I had the fire marshal ask me to come down to Exeter, and we even did a demo on how to fry a turkey, because people were doing them in their garage. People were doing them in their house. I mean, they were literally having fires. The fire department went crazy and we showed them, because the whole thing is when you take a turkey to deep fry, you got to lower it into the fat. It takes about 5 minutes to lower, because you've got a wet bird.
Right.
I don't care how dry it is. And it's crackling, popping. People just take it, drop
it in. Yeah.
And they even do a frozen one. And there's the oil boils. I mean, there's nothing scarier than a grease fire. Trust me, I've been in the food business a long time. Oil boils over, it is scary.
Let's talk about some of the sides. Well, first of all, gravy. How easy is it to make a gravy from the drippings, or are you better off just getting the canned stuff, or what?
People are going to get the jar stuff. I buy the turkey pots. I buy. You can go to the store now, and I bought it last year. I bought a couple of drumsticks, a couple of wings, even turkey backs, and you take and you roast them. After you roast them, you transfer them to a pot. So it's just like making a chicken stock, but the only thing is you're roasting the turkey. You put the giblets in there. I don't put the liver in it because the liver makes it cloudy, but that's how you make a really good turkey gravy. You're not going to get much liquid out of a turkey. It's not going to work.
Oh, okay, so you can't just do it.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get, especially if you use one of those turkeys that are frozen that have the solution. You're just pulling. You'll get a ton of liquid in the pan, and it's all salt and water. That's why a lot of people, when they eat turkey Thanksgiving, especially one of those frozen ones, they're wondering why they're drinking a lot of liquid. Why I'm drinking water. Well, there's the reason why you're doing it. And here's something really people should know. They say they eat turkey and then they fall asleep. They blame tryptophan. There's not enough tryptophan in there to put an infant to sleep. It's a joke. It's not, but people don't. If you ate just a turkey and you fell asleep, well, maybe there's something. But now you've got the turkey, the gravy, the mashed potatoes, the squash, the stuffing, the pumpkin pie, the mince pie, the pecan, and the list goes on and on and on. So you're overloaded. and you eat. That's why everybody falls asleep. But just eat turkey. There is zero. Actually, there is as much tryptophan in chicken as there is. I think even a little more than there is in turkey.
Yes, people blame the turkey, but it's everything else they're eating.
That's what it is, especially with all the fat.
Yeah. I know popular mashed potatoes, a popular side dish, stuffing. What are some of your best tips on making the best kind of, if you want to do homemade?
Brussels sprouts has been around for a couple of years, and people are still into them. I like glazed carrots. Now, you can buy carrots already peeled, the baby ones. If you can go to I've seen some of the stores, they have multiple colors. They have yellow, purple, white, and orange carrots. And you just do a plain glaze. Anything is, a lot of the vegetables are out that normally you don't get to see. Asparagus, you got to get lucky and catch it if they're a really good size. The infamous green bean casserole is in town. I mean, as long as you can find those fried onions, I mean, you're good to go. But you can use haricots verts, which are the French beans are really nice. But you want to keep it basic. You don't want to overload it. People kind of shied away from butternut squash because it's an intimidating. It's the hottest squash to clean because it's the shape to try to split it. A lot of people get dinged pretty well, so you got to be careful. The stores do it for you now. You go in and you can buy the squash already split, already peeled, already cleaned. All you have to do is take it home and cut it. Acorn squash is the same way. But other high heat oven roasting of these vegetables, it just brings the sugar. You pump them up with a lot of butter. You need a lot of butter. When you go to the store and get butter for Thanksgiving, don't buy a 1 pound block. I buy you know what I use? I buy the 2 pound roll. I don't know if you ever saw it, the Amish butter.
Oh, geez.
That is the best butter. That is high. That's the best, probably highest rated butter out there.
I know a big debate people have is cranberry sauce. A lot of people like the canned stuff, but you can easily make some nice homemade one, right?
Mario, you're 100% right. I mean, we're in New England. We got the cranberry belt, the best in the country, right down the street, as I call it, down the street, which is in Massachusetts, in Carver, Mass. All you do is you buy the berries. It's a done deal. It's just sugar, a certain amount of sugar and water, and then you can put zest in there, grated orange or lemon. Bring it on, put it on the stove, bring it to a boil. When you see these things starting to pop, almost like little popcorn, but not shooting everywhere, that means it's exploding. That means the pectin's coming out. Shut it off, put it in the refrigerator, and it sets up. If you like the whole cranberry sauce, some people like it smooth. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put it through a sieve, and then you're going to have to add some pectin to it, which you need more pectin to make that jellied, whatever they call that stuff in the can. Yeah, you go to the store, and there's a gazillion cans of that. Between that, the pumpkin pie is like, I'm going, but can't people, it's so easy to make this stuff.
All right, so you mentioned pumpkin pie, so let's talk desserts now. What are the best? Obviously, people love pumpkin pie, they love pecan.
Yep.
There are probably lots of different things you can serve, right?
They are a lot of things. The one we did today was the pumpkin custard pie, which is really a nice pie. Okay, we use sugar pumpkins. You see them advertised in the store. They run about 80 or 90 cents a pound. Buy one pumpkin, and you just cut it and roast it, and you can puree it. And then that makes a good base for custard pie. I like it roasted. Matter of fact, I had a dish of roasted pumpkin before I left this morning to come to the studio. It's delicious. The only thing is you peel it just like a butternut squash. Actually, you can take a butternut squash, and if you roast it and you puree it and you flavor with brown sugar and molasses, it's a hard. You have to really, really know the texture-wise. You're not going to pick it up. So a lot of recipes call for using butternut squash.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing. Technically,
you can serve that and call it pumpkin pie. No,
who's gonna catch you?
So the one you made that you brought in for me today is what is it called? A pumpkin
custard.
And how did you make this one?
This was the same. It's just like a pumpkin pie base. The only thing is we used extra egg yolks, heavy cream. That was the custard base. The pumpkin that we used, and we took brown sugar, dark brown sugar, a little bit of butter. And the pumpkin, when we did this, you saw the color of it was really, really light in color, very yellow, but not deep. You look at this now, it's got a little bit of a deeper hue to it, and that's caused by the dark brown sugar. Now, some people, if they don't have dark brown sugar, a lot of people have molasses in the house. If you cut a little bit of molasses into light brown sugar, you have brown sugar, dark brown, because that's all it is. It comes light brown, and then it goes to dark brown by adding molasses to it.
And then the top is a.
This is that's worth the price of admission, Mario. That's 50% heavy cream, 50% mascarpone. I mean, the Italians had to get their hand in there somewhere.
Of course.
But you can see how it holds up.
And you had some fun with the pumpkin.
What we did was a lot of people take the seeds out of the pumpkins and they wash them. They're not that difficult. You wash them, pat them dry, put them on a sheet pan, put them in the oven, and roast them. Now, some people, if you want to salt them, you want to put olive oil on them and salt them, that's different. This was just the pumpkins roasted. When they were roasted, it's just caramelized sugar. Sugar, a little bit of water. You cook it on the stove. There's a little bit of a technique involved. It's not that difficult. When the thing turns amber, take it off the heat, add the seeds right away, the pumpkin seeds roasted, stir it around, pour it on a lightly oiled sheet, and within 10 minutes it'll be hot as a rock. And then you can take it and smash it. That I just put in the food processor.
I'm going to try
That's
some
delicious.
of this.
Those are really, really good. Those are catchy.
These are really
Yeah,
good.
they are. They're really, it's a
Just
simple.
eat these.
Well, I took it
a
out.
snack.
I did. Well, I took it out and I banged it with a rolling pin. I was walking around with big chunks of it. I mean, I should have double that.
Oh, my gosh.
It's good.
Now I'm going to dig. That's on top, and now I'm going to dig into the.
Yep. The crust is ginger snaps with butter baked. They come out dark brown in the oven, but then they firm up. And then once you put your pumpkin mixture on it, the crust softens up. And it has a little texture to it. It's not like a brick. It's got a nice taste to it. But this is a simple recipe, Mario.
Oh, my God. This is so good.
We call these labors of love. It's for your family. I mean, what are you going to do?
Oh, my God. This is delicious.
Yeah, it is.
And then after you eat and everything's done, you have all these leftovers. What's the best
Run.
thing to do with them?
Give them away. Give them to your family. Take this with you.
Yeah.
No, there's a bunch of things you can do.
Yeah.
I like a turkey sandwich, but I like it shaved very, very thin, and then I'll put it with the stuffing, and then I'll take and mix cranberry sauce with a little bit of mayonnaise, and I'll put that on top of it, and that's what I like. Maybe a couple of leaves of lettuce to give it a little bit of snap, and that's my favorite. Turkey is very gamey, and I'll be honest with you. Once turkey is cooked, and you try to reheat it, it's not even close to being the same. It doesn't work. So a lot of people make all different concoctions. They make pizza. They'll make, they call it chicken salad. They'll make all different turkey tetrazzini. They have to mask it out. And you have to use it because you don't want to waste it.
Right.
Because people bought the biggest turkey. The best turkey, believe it or not, if people to buy, if they have maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the family, a 24-pound turkey by weight is the best because you're going to get the most, and the only reason why I'm saying this, you're going to get the most yield of meat. If you, let's say we took a 24-pound turkey and we cooked it, and we took 2 12-pound turkeys and cooked it. And I've done things like this in school. Cooked them both, stripped them, which means break them down, and then weighed the actual cooked product. You're going to get more turkey, a little more turkey out of the 24 than you would for the 2 12s to make 24 because of the bone structure. And it all has to do with that. But basically, that 22, 24, 26-pound range is literally perfect. And I haven't really seen that many this year, that size in the store.
Wow. Great. Some good stuff. Thank you, Chef Frank Terranova, Classic Cooking, for talking turkey with us.
Mario, not a problem. Always a pleasure.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and hopefully it is filled with